After E3 was officially pronounced dead by the entirety of the internet, the Summer Game Fest came through to pick up all of the pieces, solidifying itself as the new E3. And you're probably thinking, Gamma, why is this video a month late? The simple answer is because covering all of the gaming news in one big roundup as opposed to 3 separate videos back to back to back is much easier for me, much more tolerable for my Wi-Fi, and probably much more enjoyable to watch than video hopping all day. So before I get into the recap, here is a list of all of the things announced, including from the Nintendo Direct. And here's a list of all of the games that I care about and that we'll be talking about, with timestamps. All that said, let's get into it. Starting off, the Summer Game Fest started strong with the announcement of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And actually, I have a bit more than the reveal trailer. The Completionist went to Ubisoft Montpellier in France and got the chance to interview the developers. Prince of Persia is a series that has been around for a while and is a Metroidvania, wherein you take control of Sargon as you battle huge mythological monsters and traverse treacherous temples to rescue the prince. In both the trailer and the behind the scenes, we got some insight into the kind of fast-paced action Sargon's capable of, with a mid-air dash, grappling attacks, and finisher moves akin to something like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. In fact, the inspiration for some of these moves and finishers was based on fighting games, as the team notes here.
I'm from the school of Capcom, I'm from the school of Street Fighter, etc., etc.
It's funny, when I started playing this morning, I saw the meter in the corner, and immediately I went, oh, this is Marvel vs. Capcom, this is Street Fighter, this is, yes. I saw that super meter, and the minute you press it, it has the zoom in close up, Sargon's eyes are exactly. Blue lightning everywhere, wind, like.
We build everything as a fighting games. Our character programmer that is responsible for character controls, by branching another control to try 2 Sargons beating each other so that we can have an understanding of frame advantages.
As for the story and plot, I'm sure there's stuff here for people who have played the series to enjoy, but a lot of the information flew over my head simply because I'm not versed enough to understand it. The game is slated to release January 18th of 2024, and will probably be my first dive into the Prince of Persia series. I've heard good things about this series, so it's time to give it a shot. Next up, we have the first haymaker, Mortal Kombat 1, where we finally got to see some gameplay. And I'm happy to report the game doesn't look stiff anymore. This is perhaps the most fluid gameplay we've gotten from any Mortal Kombat yet. The way the moves string into one another, the aerial combat, the combos and fluidity of the characters' movements, everything here is a noticeable step up from the past 2 entries, which felt slower, methodical, and overall heavier than any other fighting game out at the time. Additionally, we got a look at Kenshi, returning from Mortal Kombat X, and a look at the new styles of these characters. Everyone seems to be set in a more casual Earthrealm. I mean, look at my boy Kung Lao. Bros ditched the old Shaolin digs and threw on a jacket. Scorpion and Sub-Zero look more modern while keeping their iconic identities. Kenshi and Johnny Cage out here looking like billionaires. And we got to see some of the X-rays. Now, considering this is a trailer and we don't have a heads-up display, it's impossible to know if these are going to be true X-rays like Mortal Kombat 9 and MKX, or fatal blows like MK11. The difference, for those who don't know, is that an X-ray was built up through a meter, similar to Street Fighter, wherein players would input a command if they had enough juice in the meter, could use their X-ray at any point in the battle. Fatal blows work like they do in Tekken, where they are only available after taking a certain amount of damage and your health enters a critical state. For that, we'll have to wait and see. We also got to see the new mechanic of cameo fighters, wherein they help assist you in battle and with the X-rays. Here we see Kenshi teaming up with Sub-Zero and Scorpion when fighting Johnny Cage. And if these are optional, that means that they had to develop entirely new X-ray animations for potentially the whole cast. Instead of one character having only one X-ray, it looks like each character can technically have at least 2 versions of an X-ray. Potentially more, depending on which characters are chosen. Not to mention, some of these fighters can also be their own cameos, as in we can pick Sub-Zero as the main fighter and have Sub-Zero as a cameo fighter. It should be noted that the cameo roster will contain characters that aren't on the main roster. As the game comes out and the updates come in, that may change. We may eventually get DLC with characters that aren't on the main roster at launch. but that's an area of speculation we can skip for the time being. And what with the story now being rewritten by Liu Kang, who knows which characters' paths are going to align. I usually get excited about Mortal Kombat news, but this trailer has taken things to an entirely new level for me. Also, Stryker cameo. Yay, Stryker. Okay, come on, realistically, did anyone really want this nigga back? Moving on. Nicolas Cage is coming to Dead by Daylight. Alright. That's the meme of the week. Onwards, Sonic is getting a new 2D platformer in the form of Sonic Superstars, which takes advantage of a look very similar to the 3D classic Sonic look from Sonic Generations and Sonic Forces. And it's about damn time. Don't get me wrong, 3D Sonic has been doing great recently with Sonic Frontiers, but 2D Sonic was put on the back burner after Sonic Mania. Sonic Superstars will give us access to Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, who hasn't been playable as a main character in 2D Sonic games since Sonic Advance games. Not only that, but the game will have 4-player co-op, and each player will possess different attributes. Tails and Knuckles obviously will be able to fly and glide and climb, but it seems as though Amy inherited a trait from Knuckles with the ability to break down certain walls with her Pico Pico hammer. Sonic can run along walls in the background, the special stages have changed significantly, as well as harkening back to some older special stages. Green Hill has officially been replaced by a different stage, and a whole new plethora of abilities are going to be available for us to use. Also, Fang the Sniper, otherwise known as Knack the Weasel, is making a return as well. We technically saw a reference to Fang in Sonic Mania, but he hasn't been prominent since before I was even born. This game seems pretty promising, and as a Sonic fan, I'm certainly going to grab this when it comes out this fall. Also, side note, did anyone else look at this art style and immediately think it was going to be a mobile game? No? Just me? Alright, next game. On to the second haymaker for this episode, Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5. Earlier this summer, in the State of Play, we got to see firsthand some gameplay involving Peter and the symbiote suit, as well as the introduction of Venom, which the director of the game confirmed that this version of Venom will be completely different than the other iterations of Venom. He is not Eddie Brock Venom, and he isn't Osborn Venom either. It was also mentioned that the map basically tripled in size, now including Brooklyn and Queens, in addition to Manhattan. The overall scope of this game is enormous by comparison to even the last Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 4. There are only good things to look forward to with this sequel. Miles will be a more prominent role. Venom and Kraven, the world's best hunter and apparently hunting more than just the Spider-Man, are going to serve as our main villains. And all of this goodness comes home October 20th of this year. Batten down the hatches, because when this game releases, I will be playing it for YouTube. I probably won't complete it on YouTube though. I'm already struggling to record, edit, and upload Tears of the Kingdom, and it's been 2 months already. This game is going to be twice the size, with 30 times the amount of side quests, and probably a story twice as long. I'd be chipping away at this game for years if I tried to complete it on here. But anyways, I digress. Let's move on. Sephiroth has a mobile phone. This man ordering Domino's?
Now, speaking of Final Fantasy... No. Today, during Summer Game Fest, DoorDash has your back. You can get a free burrito when you order from Taco Bell using the code GameFest. Plus, get the chance to win a Final Fantasy 16 prize pack. DoorDash, stay in your game. Yep, we got you. All right.
What? Okay. Final Fantasy is getting a mobile game by the name of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. It's a mobile RPG. You should know what to expect. This game seems to want to focus on Sephiroth a little more, but other than that, let me just say this. It's not anywhere as groundbreaking as the big Final Fantasy announcement, which I'll get into later. Moving on, we got gameplay of the new Yakuza... wait, hold up. My bad. We got gameplay of the new Like a Dragon game. Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name. If you're unfamiliar with the Yakuza... Like a Dragon series, they're known for the ridiculously over-the-top combat, cutscenes, and minigames. Like a Dragon, Gaiden returns with that classic Yakuza formula and continues with its roots of taking ordinary businessmen and Yakuza gang members and giving them the most ridiculous circumstances to overcome. This game is slated to release in November, so if you're a fan of where the story is going with this seemingly nameless protagonist, you have a potential Black Friday buy right here. Xbox announced that they made a Porsche... No, actually, Porsche announced that they made several Xbox designs. Car fans go wild, I guess. Summer Game Fest also showed off a completely new indie game by the name of Lysfanga, the Time Shift Warrior, a tactical overhead action game wherein you respawn, but your past self accompanies you on your journey. This is a concept I've never seen before and has me, and I'm sure a bunch of other people, intrigued. Essentially, imagine your Mario Kart ghost from your last time trials is playing the game with you, but they aren't just there for show. They can actually influence paths to open up, defeat enemies in your way, and help you fight boss battles. Based on this gameplay, it looks like you can roll out with a whole gang of past selves and basically show up with an army for boss fights. And the best part, the main character is black, or at least dark skinned. Rule 34 finna have a field day with Lysfanga. It comes out this year, and you can wishlist it on Steam and the Epic Games Store. No console releases just yet, I'm afraid. Immediately after, we got the reveal of a brand new first-person magic shooter, Immortals of Aveum. This is one of the more unique takes on first-person shooter type story-based games. The setting is kind of indicative of Xenoblade, if anyone knows what I mean when I say that. There are these giant mechs that have people living on them, and they're powered by magic. These mechs are apparently fighting a war against someone who wants complete control over all of magic. Based on the gameplay, it seems like this game takes a lot from Doom and other games like it. It looks interesting and releases this month, so be on the lookout. On to the final announcement of the Summer Game Fest, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The long-awaited continuation of the story of Final Fantasy VII. Here is where we'll really get all of the new information on Sephiroth, Tifa, Barret, Aerith, and Cloud, and where they've been and what they've been doing since the events of Final Fantasy VII. There isn't much I can say about this game that enthusiasts don't already know. Me personally, being very much a newcomer by comparison to my friends, this is looking to be the most intriguing game of them all. Usually, Final Fantasy is one of those games that's off my radar because JRPGs really aren't my thing, but this has piqued my interest too much to ignore. This absolute bombshell of a game will release on 2 discs in 2024. Now, that concludes the Summer Game Fest, but hold on, we're not done. We still have a Nintendo Direct to go over, so let's get into it. First game of note from the Direct is the official announcement of Persona 5 Tactica, the, what is this, 9th Persona 5 spinoff? This game will function a lot like Fire Emblem, wherein you decide where characters go based on a grid, and certain characters will have certain statistical advantages and disadvantages to other characters. We get introduced to a new character, arena, and a brand new world where these new armies have taken control. All that with the new personas, the ability to combine personas, which was actually taken from Persona 5, new marvelously animated cutscenes, amazing music by Lin, and I'm sure a bunch more new mechanics and lore for the Persona series. Or I should say the Persona 5 series, because they might as well make Persona 5 its own series at this point, with how much they keep reusing the name. Alright, speed round time. We got our new Splatfest theme for next week. Choose your favorite ice cream flavor. Alright, here we go. This is the one we've been waiting for. Neapolitan. Vanilla versus strawberry versus I mean vanilla versus strawberry. Wow, really weird decision to only give us 2 teams this time, Nintendo. But whatever, it's your game. Then we were forced to sit through Detective Pikachu coming back. The movie was alright, the game didn't strike my fancy, and neither does this one. Next, then we got... Oh. Hey, wait a minute. Nintendo won. I know Summer Game Fest isn't a competition like how E3 presented itself, but if it was, this release on its own beats just about everything I went over today. Mario RPG, one of the most wanted remakes in the Mario fandom, which is enormous by the way, is finally coming. There is a reason Geno was loved by so many people and wanted for Smash Bros, and now everyone who doesn't get it can play the game for themselves now. If you still have no idea what I'm talking about, take the characters and aesthetic of Mario and then make it a turn-based RPG. No, not Paper Mario and not Mario and Luigi. This is the precursor to all of that, featuring its own new cast of characters and unique settings. This is going to be an instant cop for me, and it should be for you too if you value Mario and you like RPGs. And then right after that, they announced that they were making a Princess Peach game for the Switch, and that they're visually enhancing Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was my first Luigi's Mansion experience. Personally, Luigi's Mansion is a series I'll defend until the day I die, and I vividly remember spending an unhealthy amount of time playing and replaying Dark Moon on my 3DS. This game was my life for 7 years, and I'm glad it's back. Moving on, we got the Batman Arkham Trilogy. Oh, not looking too hot there. Okay, well, shortly after we got some more news on Pikmin 4, with the main character's crash land. Okay, come on. You'd think a more advanced society capable of consistent space travel would develop better technology and have a more successful landing rate than modern Earth ships and probes. But so far, Earth, 4, intelligent alien species, 0. Not a single one has landed on Earth successfully without breaking something or losing someone. Anyways, I love Pikmin. It's a strategy game about micromanaging your Pikmin troops, finding important items to repair your ship, and apparently rescuing people who have somehow ended up stranded here on Earth, all while being the size of a penny. This trailer also exclusively shows off the new character, Ochi, the small dog-like creature who can assist the Pikmin with their tasks. The setting has also seen a change. Instead of being set in a post-apocalyptic Earth, we're now in a white suburban backyard and the park down the street. Not at all what I was expecting for the setting, but okay, I'm down to see how they incorporate the existence of humans into this world. They also showed off a new kind of environment being underground, where the puzzles and enemies are completely different from the surface. And, most interestingly, the ability to stay out at night. Before, all of the captains left the planet to enter the upper atmosphere, so they'd stay away from some of the larger creatures at night. But now it seems as though we can stay as long as we want, although we'd have to face the consequences of tougher enemies, I'm sure. Right after that, we got treated to the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, where we get a compilation of Metal Gear Solid games. This is perfectly timed, as Snake Eater just got announced in the State of Play earlier this summer. So, in light of that, Metal Gear fans can enjoy some on-the-go Metal Gear until Snake Eater comes out. Wave 5 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass just released. Basically, this is just me saying, hey, go turn on your Switch for the day. Play for half an hour if you haven't already. We're getting a new WarioWare game, WarioWare Move It, which will take the motion controls of the Switch and use those for the micro games, similarly to how WarioWare Smooth Moves worked on the Nintendo Wii. If you enjoy a bunch of rapid-fire micro games while interacting with motion controls, I'd say pick this up. Personally, I love WarioWare. It's a great party game, especially considering this game does have local multiplayer. Although, keep in mind, each player needs 2 Joy-Cons in order to play. You'll literally have to become Joy-Con boys in order to experience this one. In celebration of Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo is also announcing Zelda and Ganondorf amiibo figures coming out just in time for Christmas. Be on the lookout, as I'm sure these things will be gone immediately if you're not paying attention. And finally, we got a new 2D Mario platformer by the name of Super Mario Bros.Wonder. You heard me correctly, the new part of the title is officially dead. You know, somehow it feels like it's been forever since we last got a new 2D Mario game, yet it also feels like it hasn't been that long. Realistically, our most recent 2D Mario games were the Mario Maker games. Mostly everything else has been 3D. Hard to believe that the last original 2D Mario game came out in 2012. Yes, technically, excluding re-releases or deluxe editions, our last 2D Mario game was Super Mario Bros. U for the Wii U. This is a welcome and much needed addition to the 2D Mario lineup. And my god, there's a lot to unpack here. Firstly, the art style and the expressions the characters have in this game is amazing. The world looks beautiful and new. You stay away from here. We're also getting Princess Daisy as a playable character for the first time. Actually, really? Wow, yeah, actually, this is the first time Daisy has ever been playable in a canon mainline Mario game. She's always been playable in spin-off games like Mario Kart and the sports games, but never in a normal 2D Mario game. I mean, additionally, there will still be 2 Toads and Princess Peach and Luigi as playable characters, meaning we have 6 characters to choose from in this game. I wonder why. Speaking of the game's title, this game really does feel like a fever dream. I mean, the Goombas are literally asleep. We have line skating Koopas, piranha plants that just decide to leave for lunch break, 2 different kinds of coins, Peach has a cap for some reason, the pipes decide to hit the yoinky sploinky, Mario becomes Stretch Armstrong, the flowers are talking to us, Daisy is stupidly fucking strong, That is not Toad. What the fuck is that? And why did Rule 34 explode an hour after this fucker appeared? And all this comes out just before Halloween. October is shaping up to be the month of expenses. Ghibli Fest, Spirited Away in theaters, Five Nights at Corey Kenshin's, Spider-Man 2, and then this. Well, while your boy contemplates how much money he's about to spend on video games, y'all guys can let me know what you're excited for in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. Go listen to my new album, Seasons of Blossom. It's on my other channel. Enjoy your July and Independence Day, and I'm gone.